Stranger Things, probably the best Netflix show ever made. Recently, as you know, the 4th season was just released, and everyone loves it. I've not talked to a single person that has not liked the new season. But before I can give you the rating on the new season, what I think about the new season, I have to give you my rating on every single other season that they've released, because I have not done any of those seasons yet. So let's go and start. The first season was about how the Demogorgon, or Vecna, trapped Will in the Upside Down, a realm that is just like our world but full of monsters and is really dark. The only way you can communicate to people through the Upside Down is through lights. So at the end of Season 1, Hopper and Joyce venture into the Upside Down through a portal at the Hawkins lab, and they find Will and they save him. Another thing that happens is while Mike, Lucas, and Dustin are looking for Will, they find this random girl in the woods named 11, and she's weird, and Mike falls in love with her. So yeah, that's pretty much summing up Season 1. That's just a very brief description on what happened in the first season, but to sum this whole season up and rate it, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was really good. It wasn't a bad season by any means. It just had a lot of dry moments, and it wasn't all too... It was kind of boring at some parts, but the parts that did have action, they did it really well. Moving on to Season 2. This is a season that Stranger Things really, really blew up. The season is about how a shadow monster called the Mind Flayer takes over Will's body, and the Mind Flayer can control Will at any time he wants. He uses it to spy on everyone and gather information, and now the Mind Flayer is creating a big portal under the abandoned Hawkins lab, and demodogs are coming out of the lab. Out of the portal as well. Also, I should mention how everyone loves Steve now. He was a really hated character in the first season, but now everyone loves him for a good reason. At the end of the season, they removed the Mind Flayer from Will using heat, because it hates the heat, and 11 closes that big scary portal that was under Hawkins' lab. So Season 2 gets way better than Season 1. Not as much really happened, but also way more happened. Like, there wasn't much to talk about from it, but a lot happened, and you should go watch the actual season to get full thing of it. So this season's rating, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It was really good, but there was one episode in particular that I just hated. It was called The Lost Sister. It was terrible, and it was boring, and I'm not sure if anyone really liked that episode. It was just some weird 11, not even backstory. It was just some random thing that happened, and I don't really know why it happened. But yeah, I just didn't really like that episode. But moving on to Season 3, this is my favorite season, no doubt about it. It is way more colorful and awesome. Definitely had a higher budget than the first 2 seasons, and it had amazing CG, really cool scenes. Season 3 is about how the Mind Flayer is back, and it is exploding rats, and it's using the rat's guts to form a monster. The Mind Flayer also now took over Billy and is using him the same way that he used Will, but Billy is stronger than Will, and now the Mind Flayer is more powerful. The Mind Flayer is using Billy to go out and make an army by dragging people into the basement of this weird, abandoned factory, and Billy is feeding the souls of these people that he kidnapped to the monster that is made out of rat guts. And so now what happened to Will and Billy is now happening to everyone that comes into that basement. So pretty much Billy is infected by this Mind Flayer. Now everyone else is at the same time, so it's forming an army. Closer to the end, everyone that Billy kidnapped gets eaten by the monster, and now the monster is bigger than ever, and it starts going to the mall in search of 11. And at the end, Billy sacrifices himself to save his sister Max and 11. And Hopper died, but what he actually got was captured by Russians, and he was taken to a Russian prison. Will and his family moved away to California, and that is pretty much the end of the season. To rate Season 3, I'm going to rate it a 9.5 out of 10. It was a really good season, really, really good effects, and really colorful. I loved it. My favorite season. I did not have a single episode that I did not like. There was not a single episode that I didn't enjoy. So it gets a 9.5. That leaves us with season 4. Season 4 was a really good season. It was really all over the place with a Russia storyline, a California storyline, and I forgot, a Hawkins storyline. How could I forget about that? It had also a Hawkins storyline. Each episode cost over $30 million to make, and it also took about around 3 years to make as well. The season is about how Vecna is going around consuming people's souls in Hawkins, and how Will, Jonathan, Mike, and Ariel and 11 are running away from the government, and how Hopper, Joyce, and Murray are escaping Russia. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this season, so let's get started. Vecna's first victim is Chrissy, the girlfriend of this big popular kid named Jason. Chrissy gets Vecna'd, and she dies right in front of a new fan favorite character, Eddie. Second victim is this nerdy kid named Fred, who has a huge crush on Nancy. The third victim is this popular basketball player. I forgot his name, but he dies in front of Eddie again, which pushes Jason to be 100% sure it is Eddie that is involved with the murders. The fourth victim was about to be Max, but her favorite song, Running Up That Hill, saved her. The end of Hawkins' storyline is Eddie sacrifices himself to buy time for everyone to kill Vecna. Dustin hurt his foot so he could not get to Eddie in time. And that was the saddest death in all of Stranger Things. Max dies for a minute, and then 11 brings her back to life. Lucas did an amazing job on that Max death scene. His acting was phenomenal. He deserves a reward if he hasn't gotten one already. Because Vecna killed Max for a minute, it counted as the fourth and final death, and Hawkins got almost destroyed. Because the Upside Down is now leaking completely into the real world. The California storyline is about how 11 is getting bullied at school and how she smashes her bully's face with a roller skate. Then she gets arrested for it, but luckily Sam Owens comes to the rescue and takes her into a secret California lab. As it turns out, the old Brenner is still alive and built this prison to trap 11 and find out her past and why she lost her powers. Mike, Jonathan, Will, and Argyle go back to look for 11. The military found her before the crew could find her. Luckily, she got her powers back and killed the military, but Brenner finally dies. Finally. Then they figure out that Max is in danger. Everyone in California figures out that Max is in danger, so they find a freezer and fill it with salt and water, so then 11 can find Max and help her kill Vecna. And so 11 distracts Vecna and gives time for the Hawkins crew to throw Molotovs at him and hurt him very badly. The California crew travel back to Hawkins and have a big reunion. Now time for the Russia storyline. Joyce finds out Hopper is alive, so her and Murray travel to Alaska and meet this guy named Yuri. And Yuri flies them to Russia, and that's where they find Hopper, who is about to start a Demogorgon fight. He wins, of course, and so now Hopper, Joyce, and Murray need to finish killing the Demogorgon. But while they're looking for it, they find that the Mind Flayer was in Russia, and now it is in one of the Demogorgons. So at the end, he kills the Demogorgon, and they get transported back to Hawkins. Hopper reunites with 11, and a happy ending happens. Finally, time to rate all of Season 4. I know it's a really weird description that I gave out, but you have to watch the actual season in order to understand it. So if you didn't watch this season, then you shouldn't even be watching this video. But, I rate Season 4 a 9 out of 10. It was a wild adventure, and it was really exciting and entertaining. The season felt way more adult than the other seasons, which is better because Stranger Things should be more of an adult show. It gets a 9 out of 10. It would have been a 9.5 out of 10, but that 11 storyline that was going on was not really entertaining, and it was really boring. Of course, it did mean a lot to the actual story, but it was just boring. So yeah, it gets a 9 out of 10. Now, all of Stranger Things together, I give the whole show a 9 out of 10. It is a very solid show with very solid seasons. The Duffers are geniuses, and they find a way to make all the seasons fit in together so well. So yeah, that's the end of the video. If you agreed with me on that rating, then go and like the video. Now, real quick, I'm going to thank all you guys for 100 subscribers. Definitely means a lot to me. That was my goal for 2022, and I met that goal halfway through 2022. So that's pretty big, and thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.